kind of funny we're doing this movie in May.
Yeah, but this episode's going to release like...
I know. I was doing the math, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is
way past it. Also, it's like I agree and I disagree with that. Of like whatever, you know.
Yeah. It's just it's hard to separate.
Yeah.
Because of the time. Mm-hmm. You're kind of like, what the hell were you thinking? A little bit.
Well, yeah. It's like it's like I wanted to continue that, but I was like, this is an opening part. I don't want to talk about the movie.
Well, let's just get into it then. All right.
All right, there we go. Yeah, we're not.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and
Jacob's mixtape.
It always makes you giggle.
Dun 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 dun.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TJ's Mixtape.
Welcome to our sci-fi space opera block, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, animated.
Space.
Specifically animated. Animation. Yeah.
And we're starting off with 1985 Starchaser, The Legend of Orin.
Yes.
And if you never heard of it, you're not alone.
So I just remember I liked it as a kid. It was one of, my early memories of a movie that like scared me, but I enjoyed.
Okay.
I was like probably like 4 or 5, like a baby, like a youngling watching this. And I remember specifically some of the animation in it, like the leeches on him freaking me out. And Zygon himself, the
mandroids were sick.
Yeah, the ones with the whips, like the beginning of the movie really sticks, like is more like a memory of my childhood than like the rest of the movie is.
Okay, the whips and that whole thing. Okay, tying into what we started with the cult. Okay, I got something later to bring up.
Ooh,
no. But yeah, Legend of Orin was released November 22nd, 1985.
Its a first release was actually at Cannes on May 11th, because this was one of the first animated, like more or less
May 11th.
May 11th. Yeah, actually tomorrow would be like it was. It's regarded and looked on as like not the first, but one of the first. Like, is pretty much the first animated feature to do 3D.
Yes, I did see that.
There was like I think one other like movie that was not American made that technically has that moniker, but it didn't have any like big release or anything, or like worldwide release or notaries, I guess what I'm trying to say. But yeah, and it's like this movie, and it was also the first animated movie to implement not only like drawn art, but also like computer animated art inside of, for its for all of the animations in it.
Yeah,
it's the first one to use computer animation.
It's got a real G.I. Joe feel to it.
Oh yeah, it's 1985. Mm-hmm. I mean, it also like all of the art looks like it. Like I was expecting it to be under the same umbrella of like art people that did heavy metal.
Yeah, it's got that vibe too.
Just without the nudity, without the boobies.
It's the best part. Yeah, it's I don't know.
I mean, why don't you give a quick synopsis?
Oh, okay. A young slave must stop an overlord and free his people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Which is very not Star Wars.
No. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff from everything, though. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I was even when you brought up the whip robot people, even that whole scene is super Temple of the Doom.
Was Temple of Doom already out?
Ooh.
Are you gonna do a quick
I'm
search?
just real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. While you do that search, I'm gonna ask. So yeah, like, and you know, like around it was like
Temple of Doom came out in 84.
84. Okay. For 85, how many movies had you seen?
16.
16. I had 21. But also what was really hard about this was I was going through the list and there were definitely movies where I was looking at and I'm like, okay, I know I watched this at one point in my life, but if I can't remember at least like half of it to 2/3 of like what the story is or something, like, or the main plot in a big way, I just don't count it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot where I was like, no, man, that's like, I would click on the title, read the description, and I would see like the movie poster. I'm like, I definitely watched this at one point, and I just don't remember anything
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, we don't have any caffeine today, so we're like very.
I got a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and I guess I should have just like chugged part of a fucking diet Coke as well. But I was like, it's too early for Diet Coke, but I'll drink a Red Bull. Anyway. But yeah, so for 1985, this movie was actually pretty impressive for the animation and what it was doing. Maybe not know so much storytelling wise, but like,
oh, the story is I'm sorry, but abysmal.
It really is.
It's really, really bad.
It's so slow and so drawn out. Okay, and also, okay, so I found a really cool interview from the director and writer.
Then after that, I have a really funny example of why the writing is so
Just
bad.
do that first.
Okay, so if you go on, you find their movie poster, like their promo. It's a
Zygon.
Zygon. So the top says the best 3D movie ever made, and it's like
The only one so far.
yeah, like there's two, and this is okay. But then also, the tagline for it is 1,000 years of technology has created the ultimate robot. Now he wants to rule the universe.
Yeah.
That's the twist.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
That's the big twist at the end is that, oh, this is the same bad guy the other savior dealt with.
Yeah.
They put it as their tagline on the poster.
That's funny.
I was like, I just saw that while we were like setting up, and I was like, wait. It's like Sixth Sense. Bruce Willis is actually already dead. You know? It's like, wait, what? Sorry, spoiler. You know what? That movie's how old now?
Sixth Sense. A young boy hangs out with a ghost and
yeah, then helps him find closure. I don't know. And I like how I spoiler alert a movie from
the tagline.
No,
from like 99.
Yeah, like 99.
But yeah, so like this movie, it definitely it lives in a very specific. I think if like there is any type of cult following me, but yeah, no. What was the website? Let me bring it up really quick. What is this? I can close. Topless Robot is the website.
When was there a topless robot?
The website's called Topless Robot. Interviewer is Matthew Chernov, but like it was in 2015, and he actually like met up with Stephen Hahn and Jeffrey Scott and like interviewed them, and he's like asking, like, so because like this is like one of his like 80s like nostalgia sci-fi crazy shit, you know, just like a lot of people, it's like Mad Max, Beyond Thunderdome, or like Cocoon, Back to the Future, you know, like he's like, and it's like I would add this one as like a really one of my favorites as well. And like they kind of bring it up in the Wikipedia articles, like, so like Stephen Hahn, he is really only known as being like a production manager for like a lot of different like animation, like animated shows.
What does the name sound so familiar?
Stephen Hahn?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I don't know if we talked about that at some. Okay. Anyways,
No.
good. Continue.
Yeah, no, because like there's no Wikipedia page for him. There's no Wikipedia page for Jeffrey Scott. So like literally like finding them, it's like either through IMDb or like pretty much like this interview. So yeah, Stephen Hahn, production manager for animation, is like this animation studio that did a lot of. I forgot to write them down. Oh boy, I don't know what I just clicked on. Oh no, what am I doing? There we go. Yeah, so like for like the movie Wizards, like these are animated. Like the Wizards movie, which brought up in our adult animation, the Lord of the Rings original animated movie, the Care Bears movie, Mr. T TV series, Silverhawks TV series. Oh, really? Silverhawks, interesting. Dennis the Menace, like he's Honey I Shrunk the Kids movie. He was a production manager on. So like he's like a well-known production manager.
Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff.
And Jeffrey Scott, he was like a writer that would work like through in like on some stuff with Stephen Hahn in these animation studios. Like Stephen Hahn, he like wrote for Super Friends.
Yeah,
like all the superhero stuff.
A lot of superhero stuff.
And he's known for writing the Muppet Babies. He's the creator of the Muppet Babies.
I didn't know he did a Plastic Man show.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of random.
And then he also is like, he's the creator of Dragon Tales, that late 90s, early 2000s kids show.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that show.
So like, they kind of felt like we know what these people have done. We've seen stuff that they have worked on, but these are the first times I've ever seen these names. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is this interviewer at Topless Robot, he's like asking Stephen Hahn, like, so like, what was the inspiration for this? And Stephen Hahn is just like, well, we were in the off season in between shows and I needed to like, I have an entire department of people I need to pay, so if we don't have any work done, I can't really pay them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, let's just do an animated feature then. And he was like, and I was like, and I worked with Jeffrey Scott and some other stuff, and I was like, hey, Jeff, you want to write a movie for me? And Jeff's like, yeah, all right, sure, let's do this. And they're both like the first time ever doing movies, and they're just like, yeah, all right, sure, let's make a movie together type thing. And little did they know what it was going to turn into.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
And Jeff Scott, like looking at some of the stuff that he's been like a writer on, like one of them is this 80s show called Masks. And
that's familiar.
That sounds familiar?
Yeah.
It's like a G.I. Joe meets Transformers knockoff. Like, I don't know. You may have seen some like shit from it, but like I highly, highly, highly doubt it. Are you going to look up Masks 80s animated?
Is that just, it's 80s, right?
Yeah. Looks like the same exact animation company, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But, and apparently like Jeffrey Scott just kind of wrote the script and it was super episodic. And then Stephen Hahn got together with a storyboard artist, and apparently the original cut of the film was going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long or something.
Oh yeah, it looks like a G.I. Joe ripoff.
Dude, yeah. But then they drive, so talking about Masks again, they drive around in like big, vehicles, like a semi truck, and there's like a fire truck.
Yeah,
But they like turn into like artillery, like vehicles, like they transform, but like not into, it's fuck. Am I just like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Little rabbit hole there.
So yeah, Jeffrey Scott, he wrote this script that was like fucking 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, just cut out some stuff. I don't really care. Like, their story beats are in there. Just make sure the story beats are in there. It's pretty much a first draft script.
It feels like that a little bit.
And I was like, holy shit. All right. And
were there any toys from this?
Maybe. I didn't look that up. Hold on a second.
Because I remember we talked about shows being made to make toys a while back.
Definitely not one of them.
No, I know, but it's just like a lot of the designs just feel like there's probably a toy of that.
I don't think there are. And if there are, they're lost in the world. Well, nope, there's an Aviana, Silica, there's a Lord Zygon.
There are toys.
Dag. Yeah, but these look like they weren't made in the 80s. This looks like people made these.
Like toy people?
Yeah, recently.
Like people that, yeah, I mean, that's a whole thing. People take store-bought toys and then remodel them to look like other people. So.
Yeah.
Like I saw someone take a Hulk toy and then turn it into Tom Hardy's Venom.
Oh, that's cool.
And just gave him like the veins and painted it and.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah,
I follow a whole bunch of those people on Instagram because I think it's so fun looking.
Yeah, there's no toy line for Starchaser Legend of Orin. Oh,
bummer.
But yeah, because like this movie was literally just to like Stephen Hahn just wanted to give work to his animation studio.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was like, well, I need that my animators need work and they need a paycheck, so let's make something. And the initial budget was like $2 million or something, I want to say, and it inflated up to $6 million once they started realizing how difficult 3D was.
Yeah.
And what's funny with that is that like Stephen Hahn, he's like, yeah, I wasn't really thinking like I was leading any type of like, you know, like innovative like idea of like even like using computer animation. I was just kind of like, oh, that's cool if we can do that. And and they did it. And then even with the 3D, he was like, I had no idea what I was getting into. Like no fucking clue.
Well, especially at this point too.
Yeah.
You know. And just for the record, so everyone knows there is a dog in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that I was scratching him too. So I'm looking at you and your arms just.
Well, most of the time they're only seeing like this much of us. So.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still you're kind of.
Anyway.
You could hear his little truffle pig.
Yeah, that was a sidetrack.
I don't really have much to say about the creators.
I mean, yeah,
I felt like that was kind of everything.
I kind of wanted, I felt like just me explaining that interview would be kind of like their whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
And even just like, then we'll move into the voice actors, because even like the voice actors, there isn't really much. I mean, there's 3-4 people that kind of like have something like Joe Colligan, who does the voice of Orin. I couldn't really see much of their like work that he had ever really done.
Days of Our Lives.
Yeah. And then
he plays the director on Friends,
and just a random episode.
But it's like a joke because they're shooting a soap opera and he was in Days of Our Lives as a kid. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying.
You don't need to connect anything, man. Sometimes people just have short careers.
And then Carmen. I'm gonna let you take that one.
So if it's pronounced as phonetically, it'd be Argenziano. But it might. I don't know if the G is like more of a G, so it could be Argenziano.
Yeah, who played Dag, who looks like Marlon Brando to me.
I can kind of see that.
That's why I asked you.
So the biggest thing with him is like he's just kind of like minor supporting role throughout his entire career. Like he's done some stuff on Stargate. I saw some other movies. Like he just says
like Identity, Angels and Demons.
Yeah,
he's he's the agent. Like in both those, Identity and Angels, he's an agent.
He's just like a minor supporting character who gets enough screen time where he gets a decent paycheck.
Yeah.
And then Noelle North, she does the voice of the two leads, the two females, which is funny. Hey, let's just have her do the voice of both these women.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
I only saw.
No, she does both of them.
Oh, North. Oh, let me see. Oh, okay. I believe you. I just didn't. I don't know how I missed that. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Wait. What? That's weird.
Why is that weird?
Because the format was different. And it was in a different order when I looked last night.
Elon and Aviana.
Yeah, like the order was different. Huh. Anyways, that's weird.
And she's actually has a decent amount of like voice acting career. Not super big, but like a lot of like supporting stuff as well. Anthony DeLongis, who is the voice of our villain, Lord Zygon, he's actually like a sword stuntman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like more of a stuntman, and like oh god damn it, I should have like written these down a lot better. Like, yeah, in the Highlander series, he was a swordman. He's, like, done stuff in Star Trek Voyager. He's also done a good amount of voice work as well. So, like, he's kind of probably had, like, the most of a career out of anyone of this, other than the Les Tremayne.
Who plays Arthur.
Tremayne.
Who's our spaceship.
He's, like, a famous radio voice from, like, the 20s and 30s, 40s.
Like War of the Worlds and...
Yeah, he was on par with, like, Orson Welles.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's got a voice that a specific generation of people would recognize.
Yeah.
It's kind of lost more on our generation and probably generations moving forward.
Yeah.
Hair.
Yeah. Well, it was tickling.
Oh.
So I was like, what is that?
So yeah, it's, which I found interesting that just, again, is like, this movie is just like, how did I find this movie? Like, where, like, it was recorded somewhere, like, my parents showed it to me, obviously.
It feels like your dad move.
It does. It's like, I think it was like something my dad just really liked. Because if it came out in 85 and I'm born in 86, my dad was like 18, 19 when this came out. He was like 19 when I was born.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't realize he was so young.
Oh, yeah. He was born in 66. So, no, he was 20 when I was born then. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
So yeah, he probably saw this in the theaters and thought it was really cool.
Yeah, probably. You know? Well, yeah, at that age too. He was like, "Yeah, it's dope."
Like, and that's the thing is like watching this like now with like the animations that we have seen and the animated stuff that we have seen. This movie is just kind of hard to sit through. Like I was like getting distracted left and right, like one of those things where I had to throw my phone across the room type thing, and then I would be like, "God damn it, come back here, phone." Rewinding to like make sure I was like, did I miss something?
No, you did. The writing's just bad.
Yeah.
Like honestly, there were moments that I was like the little. Oh, that's wait. We'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess we can move into reviews and whatnot if you found really anything.
There is no like Metacritic.
No, exactly. And even just like so, it's got a 6.5 on IMDb. And on Rotten Tomatoes, there is just no tomato meter rating.
Yeah, I saw that.
And 65 audience score. So it's 6.5.
So I just went and I went to the Wikipedia reception thing, and then I kind of clicked on their articles, but they all kind of ended up saying the same thing. Like the New York Times described the film as such a brazen ripoff of George Lucas's Star Wars that you would think that lawyers might have been called in.
Yep.
Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert both gave the film a thumbs down, as they both found the movie uninspired and almost felt this film was a ripoff of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then the only one that I actually that I saw that said anything other was Alex Stewart for White, reviewed Starchaser, the Legend of Orin for White Dwarf number 79.
It's a magazine.
Yeah. And stated that if you're stuck with a house full of brats on a rainy weekend clamoring for some sanitized mayhem, then Starchaser's for you. It will keep them quiet, and you'll probably find yourself amused.
Probably find it amusing yourself.
Yeah, find it amusing yourself, yeah.
Maybe that's what my dad was doing.
Yeah, like it's colorful enough, but it's like I don't know. We can just get into it now, right?
Yeah.
How's everything?
Yeah. What's really interesting is like I do gotta say is like there are some moments like watching the animation, I was kind of like, that was really smooth. That was really like movements with Zygon. I was like, and I think that's where maybe the computer animation come in. I was like, for 80s or 1985, I was like, that was very coherent. Like just like one, like as he reached his arm out and grabbed something, I was like, whoa, that was different than everything else that I just saw. You know, like,
yeah.
Did you not catch anything like that?
Nothing really stood out to me, really. Well, really just like, and I felt really bad about it. What really just made me like kind of chuckle was just some of the like Star Wars ripoff, Temple of Doom ripoff. But even then, this is in production. But it's like this movie was in production for so long, you could argue that they went in and went, "Oh, that was cool. We should like change the aesthetic a little bit." But like when he kills Orin's girlfriend, like picks her up by the neck and then the feet, and then he drop. I'm like, dun 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 dun. You know, and it's really hard to separate. But I feel like really bad about that because it's just like people. But again, like you said, that if this is really he just gave studio something to do, they're like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Also, know? It's like, I mean, the big things where I feel like it's a big, huge ripoff of Star Wars is obviously you got young naive boy who has hidden mystical powers or whatever.
Yeah.
You have,
but that's pretty generic.
That's super generic, and then you have the older buddy sidekick, or you know,
the Han Solo.
But
also very generic.
You got the ship, which is pretty much C-3PO. the smart cracking robot.
You got the little helpful little wisp, which you could say is R2D2, but that's also very Tinkerbell. Just
I'm trying to just relate everything to Star Wars. Right now.
Star Wars, just Star Wars,
just
okay.
Star Wars directly.
Because
I'm trying to see like how it where we can see where the tropes are a Star Wars ripoff.
For the princess.
Yes, princess. But then but in the actual story, very much not Star Wars. It might be a space opera with the same like character types, but the story is not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to free his people that are slaves from being pretty much just like...
Well, couldn't you say the Empire enslaved everybody?
But it wasn't like hidden, like not in the same way. Like there was literally an underground society of slaves that nobody knows about in this movie. And they are completely fucking brainwashed, thinking that this. Yeah, it's like this is so not Star Wars. But the characters, it's pretty much take all of the characters from Star Wars and put them into this and put them in a different story.
Make Han Solo Marlon Brando. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it.
That's fucking.
I think now next time you watch it, you're gonna see like really like, oh yeah, like it's like middle-aged Marlon Brando with a cigar.
No, I mean no, I was he has a very specific like 1950s.
What's his name?
Dag.
Yeah.
1950s rugged, handsome man look.
Yeah.
1960s, 1950s, But like I think the knockoff of the Star Wars characters is definitely like distracting, and also even just some of the music too,
dude. But that was my favorite thing about the movie. Actually, I loved it because
it's kind of like unabashedly like.
Well, yeah, but it's also because it was like so like they couldn't figure out which way they wanted to lean, because it goes into this really over the top like Legend, Willow, high fantasy kind of vibe, and then suddenly and it's depending completely on the scene, but then suddenly it shifts really hard into this like synthy techno sci-fi kind of soundtrack, and I loved this weird like ping-ponging back and forth, and it was really just about whatever was happening, because a lot of the time you'll get that, but it's like it's blended together to make it work. This is just like two completely soundtracks for two different movies. And it was I just thought that was awesome. No, also because the music was like the synth music was actually really good.
No, it's like now you know when something's about to get serious. Oh, now they gotta run from the bad guy.
Or like we're gonna be focusing really on the magic sword, and then oh no, here come the robots. So here come the synth. So I thought it was actually really cool.
I do gotta say is like I can't think of a movie, and I feel like this is only, and I think it might only work well in animation in some weird way. I'm still trying to figure out like how and why. This blend of like futuristic world mixed with this like what is it? Dark Ages, like fantasy, high fantasy, like castle, like worlds, like blended together. You know what I mean? With like this, like how they're slaves, but then when we get into the high fantasy or the sci-fi,
Blade Runner kind of vibe.
Yeah, and it's like even just like when they're like the slaves, it's like there is like it's the metal like slave robot whipping them. It's like this weird like this is like it's a separation. It's kind of jarring, and I can imagine me in 1985 seeing this movie and be like, why do they look like they're from like the 1400s, these people, but then there's this like robot whipping them that looks like it's from 2400,
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing though, because like when you're saying it, I think probably a good example of, well, like right now, a good example of that kind of blending is like Dune.
Yeah.
Because you have the like hierarchy, you have the kings and the queens. Mm-hmm. They have their like sword fighting, but they still have their spaceships.
Yeah.
But that's one that was actually really blended into live feel a
livable
universe,
world.
Yeah, like a universe that feels like it's alive, kind of thing, like it's its own, you know, in a galaxy far, far away. But with this, it's just. It really does. It feels like, you know, it's like, yeah, sure, it's the same animation studio, but he got his 2 teams, and it's like, all right, and go. Yeah. And he's got a sci-fi team, and then he got a high fantasy team, and just, you know.
They blended some shit together.
Yeah.
It's like they threw some shit into a blender, and they hit go, but it was just like for a second.
It wasn't like puree. It was like just, all right, I'm in a hurry. That's good.
Yeah. Why am I choking on sci-fi right now? There's some sci-fi mixed in with my Western.
All right. I'm still getting over this little head cold.
I mean, so, all right, let's actually...
And it's just like, oh, here's another thing. This is something else that I think about the identity of it, too. There are moments that it's trying to feel like, again, in the blending thing, you know how a lot of times, and especially in animation, they'll blend in these adult jokes the kids aren't really going to get.
Oh, are you talking about the girl robot?
I'm talking about a lot of it.
Okay. It's 1985, man. It was a different time.
No, totally. But I even mean like my favorite thing.
People were doing cocaine off toilet seats.
If we can bring up the picture, I want to bring up the mandroids, because even their design, you know, I'm a monster guy. I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
And just the way they were talking, but even then, like, I want his arm, and they were talking about what.
Oh, you're talking about the
swamp,
cannibal mandroid
swamp things, you know?
Yeah. They were terrifying. Like,
they were
just
sick.
Like seeing the insides.
Yeah.
I'm like, as that was happening, I'm like, how the hell was it? I was like, man, they really didn't care what kids were watching in 1985, did they?
But that's what the thing I love. Like, I love about 80s animation too, because you'll have these, like, up until then, it's like, yeah, I mean, the subject matter is dark, but it is like this very fantasy. So for a kid, they may
and
not totally...
this was marketed as a family movie.
Yeah, but it's like in the 80s with animation, like late 70s going into the 80s, you had these moments, and like it made me think of like Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
When she first gets to the rose bush and that giant rat with the axe starts just violently attacking her.
Yeah.
With no remorse.
And she's all panicking.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, where the fuck did that come from? Or even when you meet the great owl for the first time.
He's
and
terrifying.
When the spider's coming up and it's going to eat her, and then his claw comes down, and then he turns around with the glowing eyes, and his head is... You're like, what? Like, as a kid, I remember being like, what's going on? What's happening? And with that, like, that whole scene, I could see really freaky, you know, especially when you see the intestines and everything. Yeah. But I thought they were sick.
No, they're cool fucking designs and interesting ideas for, like, this, like, yeah. It reminded me of Judge Dredd and the cannibals.
Yeah. It has that vibe. Yeah. The religious cannibal people, the family. But... And then even then, yeah, then you have this other, the whole, the rewiring the droid thing.
Oh, you're in the wrong spot for that.
I was, yeah.
It's in her posterior.
Ooh.
Don't you dare.
I was like, and then he puts tape on her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And now, I mean, you see shit like that, and you see why maybe there's a problem with people thinking things were okay, like,
oh yeah,
you know.
No, but like that moment happened, and I was like, okay. Oh my, it's in her posterior. You're right. I didn't think about Arthur being like C-3PO. Mm-hmm. Oh no. I don't know why I did Data, or what's his name? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, Alpha 5.
Oh yeah, Alpha 5.
Oh no, Zardon! Now they're coming in here.
But then you made him British.
He kind of
does he?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen it in a long time. Because I have watched it at work, but it's always on silent. I don't remember him sounding like that. But even like with this like writing too, it's like I had no idea the little blind kid was his brother until like 3/4 of the way movie where he goes, I need to go back to find my brother.
You didn't catch that? They have the same fucking face and hair pretty much.
Yeah, it's the 80s. Everybody in this movie is white, and he has 80s hairdo.
Hey, Zygon is gray skinned
with a red bandana like Rambo. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
and fucking dark eyeliner. I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
How do you tell a bad guy? make him gray skin and give him some eyeliner.
that's very fair. No, but it's like, I don't know. I did think that was so weird that they didn't like, because he mentions his brother multiple times, but it isn't towards the end of the movie. He's like, I have to go back for my brother. And I'm like, oh, that's his brother. He could have said that like 10 minutes into the film, but he doesn't.
He does. They do.
He never says his brother.
You can stay with Aunt. This is our grandpa. This is this. Like,
just no, but the guy, the grandpa isn't his grandpa. It's his girlfriend's grandpa.
That's right.
And then also the woman he says you can stay with, he just says her name. He doesn't say go stay with our aunt. He just says
he says with Aunt Sherry or something.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
Okay, $10. We're gonna put it back on.
All right.
I really like. I remember being like, no, he just says the name of the character. All right, we'll get back.
And
to
also
you next
the way
week.
that the kids all like.
We'll get back to you next week.
The kids like
$10.
Orin. Oh, what can I do without
because
you, Orin?
He's a little blind kid that Orin's been taking care of. That's just what I thought.
Who has the same color hair and same colored eyes and looks exactly like him.
1985. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. All right, $10. We're gonna bring up next week.
All right,
$10. Anyways, but yeah,
we just got so.
Now I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Well, so we keep talking about like the pad script. What is it like? Let's talk about it. But, you know, like you're saying, like, well, like you're just saying, like you didn't notice that you couldn't make the connection that the kid was the brother.
There was just like a lot of stuff that I just didn't.
There's a lot of things that were just like and set up the beat and okay, that's happening now. You know, it's like there's no like build to it. It's like, oh, that's just happening.
Yeah, because even
but there's like a setup. It's like the setup with a punchline with nothing in the middle.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a great example is like Dag, and he like,
oh, he's just quippy the entire time. Just
well, he helps this kid that obviously doesn't know what the hell's going on. Takes him to the busiest underbelly of thieves in the universe.
Yeah,
what fucking Star Wars. You'll never find a town with more villa. Well, I can't remember what the quote is anymore. But when Obi-Wan takes Luke to Mos Eisley,
yeah,
that's what he says. He's like, he just, you know.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, they're already on Tatooine.
Well, yeah, but okay. But I'm saying, naive kid, let's take him to the most seedy place that we can right now. And
that's how you find a smuggler.
He's already a smuggler.
Yeah, because he's smuggling stuff, so of course he's taking the kid there.
Obi-Wan's I know, but the smuggler's already taking. It's like what? So, anyways, he takes him there.
Oh yeah, there's also a space ghost that's telling the kid that he has a special sword somewhere.
Yeah, except he has to find the blade, and you know. But yeah, I forgot about that too. Fuck, the sword is R2-D2, I guess. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, the sword is just a representation of the Force.
Well, I meant with the whole hologram coming out.
No, that'd be Obi-Wan.
Oh, we just skipped the...
Well, think about this. Return of the Jedi has come out by now.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking, I was strictly thinking New Hope for some reason.
Oh, no, we got Force Ghost shit. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, wow.
I mean, they're ripping... That's why it's like they're ripping off Star Wars, but they have 3 movies, and it's like these characters are just so stock now. That's why it just feels so like, oh, you're like... Well, you might as well have just done Star Wars, but the story itself is not Star Wars of how it unfolds and what it's about and what it means. It just has stock characters.
Anyways, I was getting to real quick. Was Dag takes this naive kid to the underbelly, blah blah blah, and then just decides to leave him there.
No, he sells him. Well, he's about to sell him. No,
he only sells him after he sells the robot to be like a sex slave or something.
Something like that. Fembot, yeah.
Not entirely sure what's gonna go on there. But
he's trying to get information out of her, I think, as well.
And then he leaves him to wander around. Then he stands up for his new friend,
the Fembot, right?
The Fembot, and then he goes,
sorry, kid. He tries to buy the bot.
Yeah,
but he doesn't know what shekels are or something. Whatever they're
Starbacks.
Starbacks, yeah.
Yeah, it's not Starbucks, it's Starbacks. And then he gets put into slavery, and then Dag's like, sorry, kid, the dog eat dog world.
And then he turns around. He's like, "Okay, I have a heart, actually."
Yeah, and you're kind of like, "Why do we care?" You were just ready to. You reprogrammed this robot to basically in love with you, and then you sold her off to the first person you saw. Kind of a scumbag, dude. And then suddenly, Nerfurter or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, and so, and also like, I mean, just like he doesn't. His arc is like he becomes a good guy at the end because of Orin's naivety, but opens it up for him or whatever. But even still, just like
I mean, at the end, he's all ready to sacrifice Arthur and Silicon or whatever her name is. Silica. It's only by happen chance that they don't get blown up into a million pieces. Yeah. He's just like, thanks, man. Deuces up.
No, I think like one of the stupidest things in this is actually how quickly the princess just falls in love with Orin.
Yeah, that's so the era.
It's so that era, but it's like it's just like
it's kind of worse for Orin because the love of his life, someone that he grew up with in the mines, the only woman he's ever really known in that way, has just been brutally murdered. And then a couple days later, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like.
You look like my dead ex-girlfriend.
But red hair. And you got way more money than she does, so that's helpful. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I thought the whole thing was weird.
I mean, the big twist of Zygon actually being Nexus and the whole...
Can it be a twist if it's on your poster?
Whatever. The whole thing, that... It's interesting is like the whole premise of this movie is actually kind of interesting of it being like an advanced... AI pretty much wanting to do the next step of evolution and eradicate human life and have robots be, the next top of food chain type thing,
dominant society,
and using humans as slaves for that to create that. It's like there's at some point a sense of an idea of like a good commentary on the world and of having technology, don't let it get too powerful. GPT chat. Yeah, I was expecting more of a horizon from you from that.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was kind of thinking about Lord of the Rings and the whole lava thing.
Why?
Because doesn't Gollum get thrown into lava?
He jumps into the lava.
Yeah, but then I don't know. The kind of like I'm thinking like because that animation style, maybe not Temple of Doom, maybe more Mordor.
Sure.
I don't know.
It's got so many ripoffs. I just don't really care anymore.
Oh. I think the worst one is the foot with the
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like that's almost shot for shot.
No, what for? What from when?
When where are the plans? When he picks up that soldier, and then you see the feet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but you actually see Vader choke the guy out. You see. I mean, it's just the end shot because you see him pick her up and then it pans down because I don't know if they didn't want to get too violent with it. I think that's exactly. They didn't want to show an actual like death of a main character so that it was actually family friendly.
Yeah. I feel like they were like sneaky about stuff.
Yeah, 100%. That's You had it as an animator, especially in the 80s.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like a weird rule about guns and stuff. They had to be like laser guns. They couldn't use bullets. Mm-hmm. They had to be laser guns. That's why G.I. Joe and stuff uses it. Yeah. Make it family friendly. You're still like, it can still be kind of scary. Even like imagination can make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like there is a commentary of stuff. It just happens to be not a really good script and just like a rushed idea through all of this stuff and like even like I do think like Orin discovering that he's like had the power with him the entire time, which is kind of like it's a weird curve because it's then like, oh, what is the Zygon keep calling them? They're like not like they're like Kahans or something.
Yeah, like the
Kahans.
The Kahans.
Yeah,
the Jedi.
Yeah, which. I didn't really make that connection. Kahan, I thought he was saying Kahan as in that's this specific race of human.
It could be that, or I got this kind of feeling it was like this reincarnation kind of thing, like
because no. The Kahans, I guess I would be the Jedi because the Kahans are like when the other Force ghosts come out of the sword. They're the Kahans. And they offer like you can come with us and live a spirit, of life. And he's like, no, I want to stay and live down here with the humans a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, but that's what I think it is. It's like, and that's like, I mean, it's one shows up every time something's out of balance.
Yeah.
So when an overlord is a bunch of people enslaved,
and then all of a sudden a sword shows up in the middle of a rock pile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it finds the next avatar,
The Last Airbender?
Yeah. Like it finds the next obtainium mine, and then they go to the Deep Nine space station and through the Nexus Gebula and read the Chronicles of Riddick, and then they
Snap the Infinity Stones?
then they have to snap. Yeah, yes. Then they have to snap the Infinity Stones and make sure the xenomorphs don't get out. And then Kal-El needs to come to
but it's all going to be reset by Skynet anyway, so let's not worry about it.
And then Skynet hits Control Alt Delete.
Fuck.
That was really fun, actually. I also just started like completely blanking on sci-fi stuff. I'm like,
all right. Let's. I'm actually just kind of done talking about this movie.
what do we have?
We're almost at 50.
Okay.
So I think we can wrap it up.
Let me just think for a second, because I
can't really think of anything. I mean, it's like,
I was just gonna say, like, especially after what you told me, and that just kind of solidifies it and makes it worse. This feels phoned in, and I get that he was they were making a project for the studio, but there's like really doesn't feel like any drive or passion behind it, except for me the fact that, well, what can we do with the 3D space, and let's play with that.
I mean, I think there was a little bit of passion behind it, because it is definitely like, we just I think there was maybe more passion with like the animators than maybe
the writers and directors and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, that's the argument, is like you could sit there, especially if this is your job, and they're like, hey, so we have this like kind of nothing riding on it, sci-fi fantasy thing we want to do.
Well, I think they were also trying to like push it through. It's like, it's supposed to just happen over a summer.
Yeah.
in the off season.
Yeah, but they're also like, so, and we want to, we have this amount of money, and then obviously it ballooned, but we're going to try now doing this, like, we're going to try and make it into this 3D thing. I could see being like, like as an animator, like,
interesting thing. I just remembered, Jeffrey Scott, the writer, he actually somehow, like, his grandfather was the first person to write 3D comic books with the red and the green.
Oh, so maybe that's why he was interested in it.
But he was like, no, I didn't. He's like, I never had an interest in it. It just kind of happened, and there's something with, and also like apparently his other grandfather was one of the Three Stooges, and the Three Stooges were one of the first people to ever do like a 3D black and white thing. And, yeah, he's like, I don't know what's with my family, but apparently we get stuck with 3D. I'll show you that interview. You might find it interesting. That Topless Robot one. It's a weird website. I didn't realize it was the name of the website until and when I was like, and Topless Robot is the okay.
I also just have like a problem with this. A lot of the era, even like movies I like, voice acting in this era isn't.
It's very almost radio style. Like
it's hard.
It's and a delivery. And why do I say that way?
Yeah, like
I am evil. I am the evil one.
Yeah, it's like just really over the top, and it might just be, I don't know, because a lot of the animation didn't really, like, sad face, now cute tear, and it's like a lot of the animation doesn't, because it's just older, it's harder to convey.
Oh, and Orin,
visual emotion.
I want you to be safe. Going for cute here, going for kiss. Hey, it's time to take Orin out of here and put him into the bad guy's spot again.
Because I was even thinking about what's her name in Secret and Nim? Mrs. Nesbith.
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, that's Toy Story. I am Mrs. Nesbith.
I learned something new about that the other day. I can't remember what it was though.
Whatever. What is her name? Is it?
Don't worry about it.
But anyways, even just like her, like, Jonathan. And it's just, there's just this quality to it for a lot of this era that I just don't really.
Breathy?
Maybe that's what it is. It's really, I don't know.
I mean, there is a big thing of like just voice animation or voice acting. Where it's a lot of over articulation in some ways, and just
but also the equipment got better.
Yeah, the equipment got better. Yes, that's
a huge factor.
I mean, the style of voice acting has evolved a lot. Because voice acting used to be a very, very different thing.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
acting itself has just evolved.
It's like the Stranger Brigade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our heroes now land in Africa, where they must trace the Nile to the mythic temple of
The mid-Atlantic, yes. The radio voice of the 1940s and 50s. Get the Reds out of yeah.
I like that one. I don't like the transfer over into. I like the really over the top. I don't know, but anyways, we can wrap it up.
That's the voice you were just doing.
No, I like that. I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that, but the 80s, like the 70s to 80s era, there's like this period where I just don't like. I don't know.
I think they were trying to find the realness, and so they were just exploring.
Yeah, I guess that, there you go. That feels right. They hadn't really pinned it down yet. It was going from that leading into where we
so
are.
was acting in general in a big way. Like, I feel like a lot of acting from like the 60s and 70s feels, I mean, other than like some people like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Gene Hackman, you know, like a lot of acting just feels very flat and stale.
I mean, have you seen The Artist yet?
No.
About going from the
silent film era
to the speakeasy.
I know about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really interesting to see like that kind of thing, because a lot of people just didn't know how to act with talking, and so their careers just went because even some of them.
And that's when they started bringing in theater actors.
Yeah. It just started changing a lot, and that's.
And then Stanislavski's, you know, I mean, I know the history of acting.
Oh, I'm just saying, watch the fucking movie. What do you give it?
Like a 2.
Yeah, like a solid, just 2.
Yeah,
just 2. It's not terrible. It's not good. It's just kind of.
It was actually kind of sad for me to rewatch because
it's always a bummer.
Yeah,
when something's like, what was mine? Oh, I mean, the
Batman.
Batman Forever. I was like, still sitting there like, no, this movie's good. It's not good. I still love it, and that's fine, but it's not good. But I've also learned to accept that and just being like, whatever.
I can actually sit down and watch Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, but like, I don't know if like, I'm glad I own it. I don't know if I'll like.
Did you already own it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I'll ever sit down and really watch it again unless someone's like,
I really want to watch. Have you ever seen Starchaser and Orin? Yes, here you go. Don't.
I think I would rather watch The Room again.
I'd probably rather watch The Room again.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. You know, like it's just.
I think maybe just like because that.
It's more. It's not even watching The Room. It's watching him.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's more of just like having an experience.
Yeah, it's really just watching.
Should we do mushrooms and watch The Room?
No, I'm so okay. I'm like A-okay on that one.
Oh, fuck.
All right. So we're giving Starcaster in the World of Tomorrow.
Starchaser and the Legend of Orin.
We're giving that a 2. But to continue on with our animated space opera, we are doing one of my favorites that I remember. Like, again, haven't seen it in a long time.
It's gonna be so much better.
It's good. Titan AE.
Titan AE. 2000?
Yeah, 2000.
Something like that.
Starring
99, 2000. Drew
Barrymore and Matt Damon?
Sounds right.
I think that's right. I know it's Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore and Matt Damon. Yeah, just another sci-fi opera kind of
space opera
kind of thing. But yeah, probably way better. But also kind of played with that animation and space kind of in between.
Yeah.
From what I remember. But yeah, so like, subscribe,
follow us
on anywhere you get your podcast.
Review, star, rate.
Tell your friends. Love to hear from you.
Suggest us. Send us some suggestions if you want.
Yeah, we're always looking for. We're really trying to break out of the stuff that we have seen, and we're just trying to keep it fresh and interesting. So
if
you have any suggestions, please let us know. And this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape. Space opera.